All right, so this video is me talking about how I built up my Blackmagic Design micro cinema camera. If you guys aren't into this camera or building it, then this video is not for you. Go ahead and exit now. But if you have this camera or you're interested in this camera, then this is me putting it together because, as you know, this camera does amazing image quality. It's a micro four thirds mount, so you can add like a speed booster, focal reducer. It does raw internal recording to SDXC cards up to 60 frames a second HD raw. So it is an amazing camera in a small body. The problem is it comes with nothing. There's no handles, there's no monitor, there's nothing. So you can't even change settings without adding some sort of monitor. It's really not designed to be a handheld camera, but if you build it up right, it is an amazing little camera that shoots raw. And there's still a lot of people out there shooting with the Blackmagic Design pocket cinema camera. I know a lot of guys still shooting with that. The micro cinema camera, what it brings is it's raw. It's a little bit better in low light sensitivity. It also does raw up to 60 frames a second, whereas the older pocket cinema camera only did about 30 frames a second raw. So you get good slow motion out of this, up to 40% if you guys want to. Now, I'm going to walk through how I built this because I think it's a pretty cool setup. It's kind of compact and small, minimizes the amount of cables and the amount of power solutions. And yeah, anyways, let's get started. First things first, I've got a small rig cage on here with a small rig top handle. And then I put it on top of a drop-in plate for a Manfrotto. So what happens is I can release this camera body by just unscrewing this, and then the whole cage comes off the top. So it disconnects from the base plate here. But this base plate also has 15 mil rods, and the rods are allows you to add something like a follow focus, but it also allows me to attach an Indie Pro Tools V-mount battery plate. So I have the V-mount battery plate here. You can see I can swing this out, but it has a dummy battery for a Canon, so that keeps the camera powered up. And I just keep it tucked in here, and then I can clamp it down on the sides. Now, also this battery has a D-tap to 14 volt barrel to the Blackmagic Design Video Assist monitor here. So this one battery powers up both the camera and my Video Assist monitor over here. So that's the only thing you need to attach, and it powers everything up. I also have a short 1 foot HDMI cable that runs from here to the Blackmagic Design. So I've minimized all the cables. I actually made my cable. So this D-tap here is one that I made to make sure I could power up my Video Assist off of the same battery. And then I've added a handle here and then a 15 mil rod over the top. Now I'm using what is often called a Pico clamp. You can find this like on Amazon or PNC. And I have a Pico clamp up here. I also have one tucked behind this handle here, and it allows me to put a 15 mil carbon fiber rod over here with a handle. But this rod is also used to mount the monitor. And the reason I did it this way is that I don't have a friction arm, and I can actually tilt my monitor if I want to, and then when I have it in the right position, I can just tighten up the clamp back here and lock it in place. So I can tilt my monitor without it coming loose like you know, some of those friction arm mounts. This is the way I like to mount this monitor on this camera, because all I have to do is tilt it forward or back. I could still grab the camera up here pretty easily. This camera is not too heavy. But getting back, I do have the Metabones EF to the Micro Four Thirds to Canon EF. It allows you to get a little bit more light and a wider field of view, because this camera is a little bit cropped with the Micro Four Thirds. So adding these lenses, you can get more light in, and it's a better look. And with the Rokinon Cinema lens here, this is Cinema DS. I have the follow focus because these are geared, so I could just pull focus that way. And then underneath here is another plate for the Manfrotto QR. You can throw this on any tripod and set this up, focus for your interview, and you're all set. So that's it. To power it on and off, you just have the power button down here, and once that's powered up, again, the battery powers up the monitor up here. So I only have one battery to worry about, and it'll last pretty much all day, because these two units don't take up a whole lot of power. And I'm using a KMTV compact battery because it's a lot smaller, so it keeps things smaller and lighter, and it's also shorter in height, so it doesn't get in the way of the monitor. that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, so you can record raw internal to an SD card, SDXC card. You have to use a SanDisk. But the great thing is when you're shooting raw in this camera, the camera can simultaneously output via HDMI to this Blackmagic Design Video Assist. And here, this is actually a recorder as well. So I could record in a different format here, like let's say ProRes. So while I'm recording raw in the camera, I can have a proxy ProRes recording in here, or I could, record ProRes 422 HQ, whatever. I could record the highest quality ProRes in this monitor if I really wanted to, and then record raw internal to the camera. So I'm doing dual recording, or if I just want to have a quick proxy file, I could do that as well. So that's kind of a cool solution. And then the video assist here, obviously you need an LCD. This is about the right size. This is a 5-inch over here, and I got focus peaking and waveforms and histograms and all that other fancy stuff. So yeah, that's kind of why I use that, and the fact that it's both Blackmagic as well. All right, and that's a look at how I built up this camera. Remember, it comes with nothing. It's just a body. So in this way, I'm able to handle the camera. I've added my handles on the top here, on the side here. I've added a monitor. I've added a power solution because those Canon batteries suck. I've added a speed booster to give me that wider field of view, that shallow depth of field. Also lets more light into this camera. Pretty amazing that it can record RAW to SDXC cards, which are fairly inexpensive. And then my solution using a recorder on the top here, the Blackmagic Design Video Assist, allows me to use this as a recorder as well. And it has the focus peaking and waveforms and all that stuff. But I could do dual recording, so I could record RAW internally and ProRes externally if I really wanted to. So pretty nice setup here. And then again, I have the setup on a base plate here with a drop-in Manfrotto. So I can loosen this guy up, pull the whole cage off. But I have the rails on here as well, so I can add this battery solution, the Indie Pro Tools battery solution. But yeah, it's a really fun camera, really great image quality. Super impressed by this camera every time we use it. And if you guys have any questions about this stuff, I'm going to have links below this video, also on the blog cheesycam.com.